In a significant shift in Middle Eastern geopolitics, Iran is accelerating negotiations with China to acquire Chengdu J-10C multi-role fighter jets, a move prompted by the failure of a long-anticipated deal with Russia for Su-35 aircraft. The decision comes on the heels of a bruising 12-day conflict between Israel and the United States, which exposed critical vulnerabilities in Iran's aging air force and air defense systems. For decades, the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force has struggled under a suffocating blanket of Western arms embargoes, limping along with an eclectic fleet of Cold War relics, including the venerable F-14 Tomcat, F-4 Phantom II, and F-5 Tiger II, a testament to the Shah's pre-revolution ties with the United States. Sanctions, attrition, and isolation have forced Iranian engineers to become masters of cannibalization and improvisation, keeping aging fighters barely airworthy with indigenous upgrades, black market spares, and a fair amount of reverse engineering. All Iranian indigenous fighters based on old USA designs of F-5 Tiger and F-14 Tomcat build in late 60s. Iranian Air Force purchased F-7 from China and MiG-29 from Russia due to acute shortage of fighters after war with Iraq. Iran captured 24 Mirage F-1 and 26 Su-24 from Iraq during war, make them operational due to shortage of fighters. But in the era of networked warfare, advanced AESA radars, and beyond visual range (BVR) missile duels, Tehran's archaic air fleet is simply no match for the cutting-edge fifth-generation F-35 One-Nadir stealth fighters flown by the Israeli Air Force or the Gulf Cooperation Council's modern squadrons of F-15SA, Rafale, Typhoon, and F-16 Block 70 jets. Against this backdrop, the Chengdu J-10C emerges as an alluring stopgap, a 4.5++ fighter designed to deliver high-end capabilities at a fraction of the cost and political baggage tied to Western procurement. Sources close to the IRIAF leadership suggest that talks over the J-10C have advanced quietly under the umbrella of Iran's 25-year strategic partnership agreement with China, inked in 2021, a sweeping pact covering energy, infrastructure, and crucially, defense cooperation. From a tactical perspective, the J-10C represents a significant leap for the Iranian Air Force. Equipped with an active electronically scanned array, AESA, radar, digital glass cockpit, modern data link, and advanced electronic countermeasures, the aircraft is designed to slug it out with contemporary Western fighters in both BVR and within visual range engagements. The real sting in the tail comes from the J-10C's ability to carry the formidable PL-15 air-to-air missile, China's latest generation BVR weapon, widely estimated to boost a maximum range of over 200 kilometers, positioning it as a peer challenger to the American AIM-120D AMRAAM and Europe's Meteor missile. Analysts believe that by fielding the PL-15, Iranian pilots would gain an unprecedented reach in air combat, potentially deterring Israeli or GCC reconnaissance and strike aircraft from operating with impunity near Iranian airspace. Open-source intelligence and Western defense assessments suggest the war in Ukraine has exacted a heavy toll on Russia's own air fleet, with significant losses in Su-34, Su-35, and Su-25 aircraft, a dynamic that has forced Moscow to prioritize its own replenishment needs, leaving Tehran with limited alternatives for new high-end fighters. China, meanwhile, sees an opportunity to expand its arms market footprint into a region long dominated by American, European, and Russian equipment. Beijing's recent sales of the JF-17 Block 3 to Myanmar and Pakistan, alongside the J-10C's induction into the Pakistan Air Force, have given Chinese aviation firms both operational credibility and valuable export momentum. The potential deal could mirror Pakistan's procurement, where the PAF's J-10Cs have been showcased as a credible counterbalance to India's Rafale and Su-30 MKI fleet, even conducting integrated exercises with PL-15 missiles to demonstrate BVR kill chains. Should Iran replicate Pakistan's operational model, the IRIAF's ability to mount layered air defense for strategic facilities, including hardened nuclear sites at Fordo, Natanz, and the soon-to-be operational underground complex, would be significantly strengthened. This raises the stakes for any Israeli preemptive strike scenarios. For Tel Aviv, the enduring doctrine of striking Iranian nuclear infrastructure before a perceived point of no return hinges on the Israeli Air Force's unchallenged air supremacy and electronic warfare dominance. A fully operational Iranian J-10C fleet would not neutralize the F-35I's stealth edge, but it would complicate mission planning, extend the Iranian detection and engagement range, and force Israeli planners to account for more robust defensive counter-air. Meanwhile, Gulf Arab states like Saudi Arabia and the UAE would see their own procurement timelines thrown into sharper focus. Already investing heavily in F-15SA, Typhoon, Rafale, and a possible future tranche of F-35s, Riyadh and Abu Dhabi would likely push to acquire additional BVR missile stocks such as the Meteor and AIM-120D, plus advanced electronic warfare pods, to ensure that Iran's incremental gains don't translate into a broader strategic shift. For the United States, this development would be further evidence of Beijing's expanding military footprint, feeding into the intensifying Washington-Beijing rivalry that increasingly shapes defense postures from the South China Sea to the Gulf. On the operational side, Tehran would face formidable challenges in sustaining the J-10C. Maintenance-intensive fly-by-wire controls, advanced avionics, and an AESA radar suite would all demand consistent spare parts and technical support, areas where Chinese contractors would become indispensable under any future sanctions. Training pipelines would also require modernization. Iranian pilots, long accustomed to analog cockpits and outdated radar modes, would need extensive conversion training to exploit the J-10C's data link, sensor fusion, and electronic warfare capabilities to their full potential. If Beijing chooses to deepen its training support, including pilot exchanges and instructor rotations, the partnership could evolve into a deeper operational dependency, one that might reshape Iran's air doctrine around Chinese concepts of informatized warfare. Financially, each J-10C is estimated to cost around $40 to $45 million per unit, translating to roughly $190 to $215 million each. A modest package of 24 aircraft could push the bill above $1 billion United States dollars, $4.7 billion, before factoring in weapons, training, ground support equipment, and sustainment costs. Such an outlay, while significant for sanctions-strapped Iran, would likely be absorbed through energy barter arrangements and long-term credit lines under the Iran-China strategic framework. A more capable IRIAF would embolden Iran's broader regional strategy, providing air cover to the IRGC and Quds force activities across the Levant and Yemen, and complicating air interdiction missions by Israel or Saudi Arabia targeting Iranian supply chains to proxies like Hezbollah or the Houthis. Moreover, any forward deployment of the J-10C to airbases in Syria would further test the fragile deconfliction protocols between Russian, Israeli, and Iranian forces operating in the crowded Levantine skies. For Beijing, meanwhile, a successful operational debut of the J-10C under Iranian colors could solidify its reputation as a serious supplier of high-end combat aircraft outside its traditional sphere of influence, feeding into broader ambitions for the FC-31, J-35 stealth fighter and the export variant J-20 in future decades. In the end, the real question is not just whether Iran can afford or acquire the J-10C, but whether it can effectively integrate, maintain, and employ it in a way that meaningfully shifts the regional air power balance. One thing is certain, the era when Iran's air force could be written off as a museum relic may be coming to a close, and the new generation of the vigorous dragon could be the catalyst that redraws the rules of the Middle East's aerial chessboard.